Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's episode of Your Daily Five. My name is Danielle Shay and I'm the VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. I'm a trader, market analyst, and expert commentator. You can find me here on StockCharts and on a variety of other platforms as well. Let's go ahead and dive in. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is a signal known as the squeeze. And what the squeeze is it's a moment in time where there's consolidation and compression on a chart. What it is identifying is a moment in time where there's energy being built up that is likely to break out. Now, when that energy breaks out, obviously you want to be along for the ride. But the key here is identifying when it's going to break out and in which direction. Now, I want to first start off by talking about the NASDAQ. This is the QQQ daily chart right here. And as you can see on this chart, we've had some up days, we've had some down days over the course of the past couple weeks, but largely we've been stuck in a range. Now, that range comes with some consolidation and what's called a daily squeeze. Now, if you look down at the bottom bar here, you can see that I have the TTM squeeze on my charts. Now, what the TTM squeeze does is it's going to notify us when this consolidation is occurring that's likely to break out. So what you can see by looking down at this tool here is you can see first of all the momentum bar where you have momentum rising and falling, but then you can also see these green dots, and then every now and again it will turn into a series of red dots. The series of red dots tells us that the chart is in fact in a squeeze and it's likely to go. Now, the squeeze more often than not fires in the direction of the trend, and in this case, with the QQQs, that direction is up. You will every now and again get one that is a pullback squeeze, but for the most part, we generally look at those in the direction of the trend. And then we also like to monitor, any kind of news related catalysts, because here's the thing, what the squeeze does is it tells us that this energy is building, but we don't know when it's going to break out. We just know that it will. But we do know that the primary reason why it breaks out is because there is a catalyst. Now, this can be news related, like for example, CPI data. It could also be earnings related if it's a specific chart. But what we do know is that we want to be prepared so that we can be in on the trade. Now, when you look at the QQQs, for me, this is really interesting right here because we've had a pretty miraculous recovery since the beginning of the year, and we're coming up to retest a very key resistance zone. This resistance zone came in from last August, so you can see, right here, had this miraculous recovery, hit this zone, which is kind of the bottom of that head and shoulders pattern, and then we just rolled, right? So as you can imagine from right here, are we just going to roll or are we going to blast on ahead? With the squeeze, currently it's pretty bullish in nature, so I'm looking for a positive catalyst for this to break out to the upside, ideally retest these highs and keep going. Now, let's look at a couple different charts so we can see, what tickers may be moving the Qs and where we think they may end up going. Now, I wanted to look at Microsoft because Microsoft is absolutely a leader in this space right here. We have Microsoft that has already retested its August high and it's already broke through the August high as well. Now, Microsoft, one of the most important stocks in the NASDAQ, one of the top weighted products within this index, just over its last earnings report about a week and a half ago, which you can see right here, it actually had a daily squeeze going into that report, and it had that energy built up, and then boom, it exploded to the upside. And the combination of the squeeze plus the earnings report was, catalyst for that breakout and for that upside pressure. So Now at this point, Microsoft is retesting this key area of resistance from last March and last April. And this is the next zone that we need to see continuation through. But I wanted to show you this chart as an example because it is leading the NASDAQ, and it is a chart that, we've already seen a squeeze break out. Here's also another one. That was a, major squeeze in Microsoft. Here was another one. This one actually fired to the downside. You can see that there was some negative momentum there. And this one fired to the downside as well. And then you had this one fired to the downside as well. So, you can see when you were in the bear market trending to the downside, those squeezes fired lower. Now, we've shifted upside trade and we're trading to the upside. So here's a couple others. Google does have a major AI event that's going to be occurring today. So we're going to have to see how that impacts the overall stock price. But this has a gorgeous squeeze. We also have a bullish trend on this stock, a lot of consolidation, a lot of overhead resistance, and we just need a reason for this thing to break out to the upside. Now, I am cautiously long Google, but depending on the way that it reacts to the AI event, I may either be taking my profits, hopefully, or adding more size. And ideally, what I'd love to do is add some more size, see if I can target up into 115 and then up into 120. So next one is going to be Amazon. Amazon has also shifted off of the lows here. We have a more recent bullish trend, nice pattern of higher highs, higher lows, and again with the daily squeeze. So, you're at the spot where you're retesting this key area of resistance. And, Amazon has got to be able to get through here if it's going to keep going. Otherwise, it's going to hit this area, fail, and we're going to end up back down here, right? But I'm looking at the catalyst as, any kind of potential news related event. I mean, it could be just the fact that we're through earnings. Usually the catalyst is something that you did not foresee, right? And that's why you can't say what the catalyst will be unless it's something obvious like earnings coming up. But at this point, the stock has already gone through earnings. We still have a squeeze. Could be an unknown catalyst. And we just need a reason for this squeeze to fire, for that energy to expand, and for this thing to break up and be onward and upwards. So I'm looking for the squeeze to do that. So again, I'm long Amazon, just like Google. I'm targeting 110, and then after that, I'll be targeting 115. Granted, if that squeeze can fire long, we can end up breaking through that resistance. The next one that I wanted to talk about is going to be Walmart. Now, I know all the other ones were tech related, but most of the tech companies did just report earnings, and so a lot of them have already had their squeezes break out. There are, those few lucky ones that were left. But I also wanted to point out Walmart because even though it's not a tech stock, it has a great daily squeeze. So if you look at Walmart right here, again, you can see yet another chart that's retesting resistance zones. But hey, you've got that consolidation right there, and that consolidation, it's going to break out one way or another. And with Walmart, especially, consumer staples has been incredibly strong. We've been trading in the direction of the trend, and this signal right here, it's got to go either up or down. I'm betting on the upside. And ideally, that'll send us breaking through resistance. Now, keep in mind, like anything else, the squeeze is something that you look at it and you say, hey, 75% of the time, the squeeze is going to fire in the direction of the trend. If I am wrong, and if these squeezes, do in fact have momentum shift, and you see that momentum shift lower, and you see these charts hit those resistance zones that I noted and roll over, that would be in fact a moment in time where you'd say, hey, the squeeze failed, the signal didn't work, and it's a bearish squeeze. So just wanted to make sure that was clear how you would take your stop. You would take your stop if you hit and hold and it fails. That is about all I have for you today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you want to follow me on Twitter or YouTube at Trader Danielle, that is where you can learn more. And I hope to see you in the next episode.